Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, well, it's said he was kept in a top secret lab deep under Roswell. Well, he's out now. He's my co-host, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Yeah,
welcome indeed.
Secrets away from me.
Thank you, and well, you are an alien. Thank you, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome.
Yes, thank you for joining us for another brain-melting episode. So whether you're a new listener or a repeat offender,
Keep repeating.
You're welcome along. Always good to have you on board. Well, this is it. It's a new week.
It is.
And tonight, we've got a fantastic episode. Well, in tonight's episode, we deep dive into the captivating world of Roswell, exploring the whistleblower David Gresh and his controversial claims. So,
very controversial.
Yeah, well, join us as we unravel the mysteries surrounding the alien body video and delve into the conspiracy that's, it's been around a while.
It has.
Plus the conspiracy surrounding the National Press Club.
Yeah, disclosure.
Well, get ready. It's going to be a mind bender. Obviously, a good journey into the unknown. So, another week.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to ask you, Mr. Taylor, what has been going on with you? Anything interesting? Anything exciting?
I'm deciding what to do with a pigeon in my backyard.
If anybody wants a pigeon, Taylor's got a pigeon, free postage.
Yeah, not scared of humans.
No.
It's not potty trained.
Is it a pet pigeon, or is it just a pigeon that's landed in your back garden and you've decided that you've kept going to keep this as a pet? It's bizarre to me.
It's actually my next door neighbour.
Is he a racer? Is he a racer?
No. I've checked it. No. It's not a racer. It's not damaged in any way, because the neighbours were saying it was flying low. It wasn't flying high, but I've spotted it flying high.
Does your pigeon hang low? Does he wobble to and fro?
Oh yeah.
Well, if you want a pigeon and you can give it a good home, then get in touch.
Yeah.
You might be a pigeon fancier already,
or even train it.
You never know. It could be the next big thing. You just never know.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, Mike Tyson's in pigeon flying.
Is he a pigeon fancier as well?
Oh, he's big time, man. Big time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, you learn something new every day. Mike Tyson is a pigeon fancier. Yeah. Well, who'd have thunk it? I know Bill Bailey's a twitcher.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a peeping Tom. No, he goes around looking. He's got his binoculars.
Well,
goes out looking for birds with his bird book.
Yeah,
as far as I know.
I've seen him a few times, yeah.
So, obviously,
what's his name? Bill
Bailey.
Bill Bailey, yeah.
Well, that's who I've just said, Bill Bailey.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of another Bill.
So, other than the pigeon, what have you been up to? Anything exciting? I mean, I've had a bit of a kind of a weird week. But we've been smashing it on TikTok. We just made the 1,000 followers on TikTok.
We are.
So if you're over on there, join us. Over on the episode, over on the channel there, because we're actually posting quite a lot of new, unique, good content.
We are.
A lot of different little videos and bits and pieces. So it's good. Yeah, it's a nice little community over there as well. So definitely worth.
It's a nice little thing that we've gotten into there at the moment.
Oh yeah, I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah, I know you are. You're like hooked on it.
I'm
at the moment.
I'm a tickaholic.
You are.
I said ages ago. I actually remember saying on the show that I'd never join.
Yeah,
and I was like, no, it seems like it's full of kids, but it's not. I've got to admit.
No,
Well, anyway, this week's episode is brought to you in part by Audible. Well, yes. Audible is a fantastic way to make the most of every moment.
Oh, yeah.
So whether you're on a commute or, doing a bit of housework, it's a great way to kind of get into reading, get into audiobooks, really.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
to a story.
you can download and listen to the world's best-selling and enjoy original series and basically classics. They've got quite a lot of selection there.
Massive range.
So whether you're into your sci-fi or your romance, your comedy, or fiction, non-fiction, there's always something there for you.
There's always something there. You can't miss it.
So you'll get a free audiobook of your choice, yours to keep, even if you decide to cancel. Prime members will get 2 audiobooks a month.
Yeah, why not take it?
Just for the low price, $7.99. You can cancel anytime, automatic renewals. I like audiobooks. I think they're one of those things where, like I said, if you're commuting or you're doing a bit of work.
Bit of work and you want to listen to something.
You can kind of get a book on and get your book on.
Yeah, get learning.
It's not about just learning, but I mean, it's about being entertained as well, isn't it? So,
learning,
I mean, what I like about
whatever you
Audible
like.
is that they always get like really good personalities to read the books.
Yeah.
So, personal favourite mine, Stephen Fry, Hitchhiker's
yeah,
Guide to the Galaxy,
yeah.
is just genius. So, check it out anyway. There'll be a link in the description.
Ew.
At your perusal.
At your perusal.
At your perusal. Other than that, yeah, got stuff going on in the show.
We have.
So, like I say, this week we're going to be looking at the controversial claims of David Gresh, who basically suggested that there was more going on at Roswell than we first thought.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So, we'll get into it. I mean, like, the idea that there was, and the idea of the conspiracy theory of an alien body, it's not a new theory. It's been going around ever since I heard about the Roswell incident. Mm-hmm. So, to kind of have someone come out now and say, I've seen this evidence and I want to know what it's about. Plus all the kind of the National Press Club stuff that's going around about it as well. So, we'll get into it.
On that.
Firstly, though, I had a question for you, but I can't seem to remember what it was, to be honest. So, I'm just going to ignore it.
Yeah,
we'll get straight into it, shall we?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Why not kick it off?
All right, don't kick off. Right, well, we're basically going into the Roswell stuff. So, the idea of, like this, like I've just said, the Roswell incident is in the realms of extraterrestrial conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
It's one that's basically captured the collective imagination, pretty strongly. The Roswell incident of 1947.
Yeah.
It's been in popular culture and been kind of all over the place since, I was a kid. It's a classic sort of alien story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over the years, it's basically various whistleblowers and witnesses have emerged, each adding a layer to the saga.
Yeah.
But amongst them, David Gresh, a former military officer who basically stepped forward claiming to have inside knowledge and shocking evidence.
Yeah, highest level rank, I think it's come out.
So what evidence, you might ask? Well, an alien body that was recovered from the wreckage. They reckon he's got compelling video evidence that says that this is a thing, this happened, and, basically he's appeared at the National Press Club claiming that, there's this basically evidence is there.
Yeah.
And why aren't they looking into it? Obviously, it's left kind of skeptics and believers kind of debating it.
Yeah, because he's not just come out and gone, oh, this and this. He's come out with evidence and sent it to Congress, and that's what the National Press Office do, basically, the disclosure. Is they did it, I think the last time they did it over 10 years ago. The last time they did it, they brought out people, but it's a little different this time because whistleblowers had the legal right now. They never had the legal right before.
Yeah, because, look at Snowden.
So
in Snowden's case, he kind of got excommunicated and fucked over. Yeah, the idea that military level colonels or, top brass are coming out now and saying, well, no, I want to get this off my chest. I think we've done whole episodes about it, in particular, but...
it's them behind the brass.
For anyone who doesn't know what a whistleblower is, it's somebody who is willing to kind of bring forward evidence, and blow the whistle on the whole game, basically, and get them, get this evidence or get this information to the public domain. In terms of the Roswell incident, give you a bit of information about that. So in the summer of 1947, a mysterious crash occurred in the Roswell, New Mexico desert, which sparked rumours of a UFO crash landing. So the military announced the recovery of a flying saucer.
So now it wasn't a rumour.
It wasn't a rumour. This was day one, right? They announced, we've captured a flying saucer, but then soon retracted the statement saying that it was actually a weather balloon, right? So suddenly, this fueled the conspiracy theories that the government were hiding the truth about extraterrestrials.
That's right.
Yeah. So David Gresh's testimony suggests that, in the early 2000s, he came forward saying that he's actual first-hand evidence and first-hand knowledge about the Roswell incident, claiming that he's been handed information from military officers who were stationed in Roswell in 1947, who were involved in the recovery operation.
Yeah.
So that was basically the spaceship, and not only that, the alleged craft, but the remains of an alien being, plus a load of paperwork and bits of evidence he'd found and uncovered along the way. Yeah. So, I mean, his testimony is quite strong because he's actually suggests he's got physical evidence to say, well, yeah, we know that this happened, so what are you hiding?
Send it to Congress, to make sure that they knew and they want to find out, like, what's going on. And, like, because of that move, Congress is actually pissed off now, and they will actually find out there's actually movement being going on.
Well, I think there should be a movement of some description, because I mean, this is the thing. It's like, if they're going to be trying to be seen as transparent, then you can't ignore all the other stuff that came before it. Yeah. So if you've got top secret information that relates to the UFO, phenomenon that is, happening quite regularly now. As well as the answers to these questions, are we alone in the universe? If we've already got that knowledge, why is it not common knowledge, by now? So to have, these sorts of, this sort of evidence presented, and to say, well, we know we've got this, so can you not discuss it and then, get back to us about it? Do you know what I mean? Makes sense.
We used to be able to go to places like papers and go like, look, here's evidence on this, right? Accountability.
Well, the paper would take over, wouldn't it, the media? But I mean, the media seems to be quite hand in hand with a lot of people now. So it's like,
well, that's being paid, man.
The evidence itself, the alien body video, one of the most significant pieces of evidence presented by David Gresh was a video allegedly showing an extraterrestrial and an examination of an alien body. The footage was quickly criticised online, basically saying it was just a small humanoid figure lay on an examining table. The video's authenticity remains a subject of debate, but skeptics amongst the out there say that it was a well-executed hoax. So whether you believe it or not, it is quite a piece of evidence to suggest that there are aliens and we know about them.
There's always been that thing of there is an alien video out there, and even from back then, there's always been that case that there is some kind of evidence of a video out there. So obviously some people have used it as a hoax to try and get money, but then where's the original? So it's one of them on finding the original. I don't think we'll ever get to see it. I think at one point or another it's going to be destroyed, because the accountability will go back to the governments and chaos and all that kind of shit that's going to happen.
Well, basically, to publicise his claims, he made a highly controversial appearance at the National Press Club. During the event, he decided to ask and get a detailed account of the Roswell incident, sharing his personal experiences or knowledge about the alien body. Gresh argued that the government had, basically obstructed or basically orchestrated a mass cover-up to hide an extraterrestrial life, while some basically say that his claims were, ludicrous. It's one of those pretty much to say that it was all fabricated.
Yeah, but I've had quite a bit of watching on what he's been saying and stuff like this, and I'm kind of on the side that he might not be telling the truth, to be honest.
Well, what do you reckon? Do you think that, because you were saying, right, so basically, when you look into the guy, what was his...
High clearance.
He has had high clearance. He was like an intelligence agent. Yeah. So you could say that he might have been privy to some of this information.
But then I've got to ask the question on... it's second-hand info. You shouldn't disregard it, but you shouldn't put it as a positive as well, because whatever info we pass on to another person anyway, there's going to be blemishes or bits missed out and stuff like that. So that's one point. And the second point that I've got a problem with is that the military actually allowed him to actually speak speak
well,
out.
The fact that he made this was the problem though, because coming into a public arena where, you know, if you're kind of saying and publicising the fact that you're going to have this big debate, and say, right, we're going to talk about, you know, UAPs and UFOs and whatnot.
What we knew
the idea that he's going to come out and like openly say in a public forum, you know, it's putting him on the spot. He's trying to get a rise out of him to try and make him slip up or make him give the answers, you know, because it's hypocritical if you're going to turn around and say we're fully devoted to, you know, investigating this stuff, but then leaving out bits. Then you shouldn't be doing that. You should be kind of investigating it fully and with integrity. Yeah. So,
but it seems that it's a part of the problem is the black budget goes to certain organisations, and they can basically they can do what they want. It's a case of Congress needs to find this information, but they can't do anything unless the right information comes to their door. And now the information's got there, they're asking questions, and they're going to the people who aren't a part of the government. It's behind the government. It's them behind the government who, like the press club had one where they had a commando come forward who went to the Philippines. He was sent to the Philippines in 2009 to try and help the disaster area, because there was a volcano that went off there at that time, and also a tsunami. So he was sent to go and rescue and stuff. So while him and his team went in there, they actually come across a UAP. But the problem that he had, and he's only just come out now, he's been not wanting to come out for a long time. He's basically been threatened by the guards with no patches and all the new equipment and all this kind of stuff, that they shouldn't have been there. They can't tell anyone about what they were doing there. And it turns out that it looked like trafficking people.
Oh, right,
according to the guy who's come forward, and he went into some quite deep details. And then another thing that come out as well, which was about 145 military bases around the world that are actually alien technology. They're doing stuff with.
They're doing stuff with alien technology. You heard it here first, guys.
Interesting.
Well, no, I mean, I do believe that if they did find that technology, then they would try and reverse engineer it. They'd utilise it for our own means, and I think like
their means.
But in the long run, because there's a lot of speculation that, you know, obviously silicon microchips, fiber optic wiring, this is stuff that potentially came from this UFO
transistor.
You know, there's a lot of speculation to say that, well, we had leaps and bounds in technology over that period and since the 1940s. And whether, you know, alien technology had anything to do with that, I mean, we did seem to kind of leapfrog ourselves forward quite vastly, and I'd assume that anything that was captured from us, you know, one of these alien crafts would be miles ahead of us. So, you know, we'd understand bits and pieces of it, and we'd try and, you know,
but that's like giving us the crumbs while they take the biscuit.
But I understand that. But I mean, like, look at, so all right then. For instance, fiber optic cable, right? So say if fiber optic cable was something that they found in this ship, and they discovered, oh, actually, this is really, really good at transmitting data and light and everything, right? Then by the 1980s is when it started appearing in like science museums and things, and kind of becoming like a thing. And then all of a sudden, it's publicly, you know, available. We're able to mass produce it. We're able to kind of like use it in the day to day. You know, fiber optic cabling for your internet or whatever. It's like you say, if you were to strip down a flying machine or an alien spacecraft, the most primitive bits and pieces on that ship would be the wiring and the nuts and bolts, right?
True,
Now, we know what a nut and bolt is, we can understand a fastener, but that wiring might be something completely different to us. Now, that might be the most simplest thing that came off that ship, but that's literally, and maybe microchips, but they're the only things that have kind of really filtered into the public domain. But we don't know what microwaves, there's a lot of different things that we use that we don't know whether it was an invention here or it was reversed engineered or if it actually was,
there's an interesting...
in that game. And what else did they get that we're not allowed to know about? It is interesting.
Yeah, there's an interesting weapon that they were talking about as well, which basically it takes an enormous power, but it like that's what's been knocking down UFOs. Apparently, this device, but
like a ray gun we've stolen off the ship.
Well, no, it's kind of weird. It doesn't go forward; it goes sideways. It's like an EMP pulse, right? So the energy in that is 1,000,000 volts. Now this is like beyond that, but instead of putting a pulse out, it actually it creates something else, and it's massively powerful apparently, and we've got hold of that.
Ah, right, okay.
And there was
that'd be interesting. Like, I'd have a go with that.
That's.
Have a go with that. Can I have a go with that, please, Mr. Government Man?
Yeah.
I'll go with that. Blow a UFO out of the sky. Pow!
But then there was an interesting one where a group of soldiers were sent to pick up a UFO. They thought it was dead in the water. It hadn't moved for like something like 60 years or something. They went and tried to pick it up. When they got there, messing around with it, getting it all ready to go, it automatically
self-destructed.
Started up.
Oh right, okay. It actually started booting up.
Yeah, and they all froze where they stood, and some 2 beams had come out. And spoke to him telepathically, and then went back in, got in the ship, and then.
What are you doing? Fucking about with my ship.
But the interesting thing with
Get
that
out of
one
here, you
was
pesky kids.
they got beamed back to their HQ.
Oh right, so they were just told get off, like beamed them all.
Basically they were beamed. So that technology alone.
Oh, of course, that's amazing. I mean? Yeah, if we had our hands on that,
then no cars, no. Vehicles.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, how you never know if that does exist. I mean, the idea that there is a lot of kind of technology that we could have got from spaceships or UFOs. The idea that like we're having a lot more of this sort of these sightings. I mean, there was one in Las Vegas. We covered the story of the meteorite / something.
And there's something definitely being covered up there.
It crashed into someone's back garden in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. Residents apparently said they saw a 7-foot monster.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10-foot monster.
It seems to be getting bigger.
Angel. It was a kid who made the phone call. He was a teenager, and his family back him up for what they seen in his backyard, which was.
Okay. So they were like, it's like that's not an airplane.
Yeah, two subjects, green, grey, long-legged, big eyes, big mouth, and one landed on the roof. One landed near the tractor or something.
Right, okay.
But what was interesting was the police spotted it as well.
Because there was reports from the police, saying that they spotted it streaking through the sky.
And that's the only reason they actually went down there. They even said Are
we being visited by aliens? We could very well be. I mean, conspiracies and skepticism is that, people kind of don't believe, a lot of people. I mean, but I feel like, with the amount of kind of the Drake equation, the amount of planets and, that are out there that are potentially habitable. Whether there is a life form out there. The Roswell incident in particular has become like a breeding ground for conspiracy theories. Obviously, Gresh's, recent, or, basically, revelations have fueled the fires of conspiracies, but critics argue that there's lack of suitable evidence, and that the alien body video could have been easily forged or hoaxed.
Well, yeah, true, but like the Las Vegas incident, there's actually a lot of mystery around it because there's 16 minutes of the tape missing.
Okay. So we're already starting to see more bits and pieces on this, where we're getting like limited information.
Yeah, and actually, the family were taken out a couple of days afterwards. Were taken out of there, but then a couple of days later, put back in there. And apparently, according to sources in the Pentagon, there was several agencies who were interested in this event. There was a government-plated vehicle spotted around there afterwards for the next couple of days as well. And if you actually have a look at the tapes, there's a little bit of query around it. I even looked myself.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you obviously you need to check it out for yourself.
Yeah, but there's some things that are not right with it as well. And apparently, there's a story of a guy who gets brought in to actually take bits out, and this is like the first time the actual sound as well as the video was taken out, because usually the sound is still kept in. I think having the audio definitely would make a difference into the legitimacy of the video. But I think I've seen this video before, and when I've seen it, it did look quite convincing. But it's one of them. It's up to you to decide. The argument about the video is still controversial and obviously providing visual evidence. It can't be easily dismissed. No. Also suggests that the government declined to, bring that forward or let anyone see it. And that only fuels the speculation of a cover-up. Yeah, exactly.
So the legacy of unanswered questions, whether you're a believer or not, David's claims and obviously his story is an incredible watermark on the lore of the Roswell incident. The events of the National Press Club adds a new chapter to the ongoing debate about extraterrestrials, life, and other government secrets.
Which are coming out slow but fast, and there's going to be some shockers. I'm telling you that.
But at the moment, to this day, the question surrounding Roswell remains. It's controversial. There is some sort of controversy surrounding it. There's controversy surrounding the claims that a lot of these whistleblowers bring to the table. Yeah. It's curious, and obviously people want to know what the answers are. Yeah. And these sort of answers can unravel like what's going on in the universe and like human understanding. It's interesting. We need to know these things if they are, if the governments know. Well, keeping it hidden is a bit of a fuck you, isn't it?
Well, actually, like David Gresh stated, like they've broke like several laws of their own. They've brought like national security laws and stuff like this, lying to the people, and expend just all the money.
Yeah, black budgets. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I think you're going to find over the next couple of years that black budget is going to shorten unless somehow Congress gets convinced like there's nothing going on, this, that, and the other, and like, or even bribed. You know what I mean? Because it will happen. Obviously, someone's going to have something big on someone within the bigger agencies, because these black op agencies is. And I've actually got a name for one, but I want before I state it, I want to have a look more into what they do, and it seems like they're like the soldiers of
fortune.
Well, I won't say fortune.
Well, I'd be interested to find out about that. So if you can find out, Taylor, do get on it.
I really want to, because these guys may be a part of the bigger picture. Because they're going to have with soldiers, obviously, unless they're there for life, and even a few of them would escape if they're not interested in what's actually going on, or actually do what some of the people are doing now and telling the public what's going on. There's got to be a couple of hundred of them out there somewhere where they might be, heads down.
Well, this is the thing, you see, because it's not a small operation. I mean, it's like if there's one whistleblower, then there must be more. I mean, the thing that, if there was one person who claims to have witnessed it or witnessed things within the government and shadow seedy, not necessarily seedy, but, shadow organisations within the government, then there's obviously more than one person who knows about this. And all it takes is for more and more people to go, actually, this isn't right, we need to get this information out, then...
But it's still, the problem is it's still a death sentence.
Because, well, yeah, I understand that, but this is the thing, isn't it? You find that most of these high rankers, they come out on the deathbed because what are they going to do? It's like they want to die with a clean conscience, and the fact is, having this secret or harbouring these type of secrets for the whole life has got to kind of weigh on your conscience a little.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
definitely.
Hopefully, we're coming to the point now where, if there are any of these people left who were there firsthand, that if they're still alive or still being able to kind of like remember what actually happened legitimately or has evidence, then they might come forward, but you never know. Yeah. In conclusion, obviously, David's emerging whistleblowing as kind of it shook the kind of the UFO world a little bit.
I think these three subjects, alone, have opened up. I've noticed over the last month or maybe two that there's been a lot more on UFOs. Now, I don't want. I'm starting to consider that this is a object that the New World Order are trying to move towards.
Well, some people have said that this could be like a pointing us in the order of like the Blue Beam project, and whether there's going to be a fake UFO invasion that's kind of going to put us all like in a place where we need to be safe, and the government's the only people who are going to be able to protect us, and all the rest of it, where we give away all our freedoms because we're under threat of annihilation. When it's a bold move, it's a bold strategy.
Everything on Van Braun's deathbed, he stated, it's come true, and this is the last one in the order of actually ultimate power.
Oh well, we can't have that. No. Anyway, the all bold claims about the Roswell incident. So he's had the spotlight. Quite thrust upon him. Well, there you go. What do you think? It is an interesting one. Whether you believe it or not, whether you've seen the video and think, shit, that's an alien.
Nah,
that's a man in a suit. It's just a dude.
There's a lot of fakes out there.
It could be. You never know. But whether it is or it isn't, does it need investigating? Let us know in the comments. Send us an email at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. Or alternatively, go over to the website at neverstraightanswer.co.uk, where you can see all types of manner of weird stuff over there.
Oh, yeah.
Hurrah.
Weirdos.
Hurrah for you for taking that bold step. So we've got plenty coming up in the show.
We have.
We got the world's news.
Oh, yeah.
Got some NASA news, space news, UFOs, all types of crazy stuff. Coming up in a moment.
Are you into top 10 lists? What about pop culture? Or maybe you're just a nerd like us. We've got a show for you, loser. Hi, I'm Nick.
I'm Brandon.
We're the hosts of the Tennish Podcast, a comedy and edutainment podcast covering a new top 10ish list every week, including fun facts and trivia. We've covered lists such as the top 10 most popular 90s songs on Spotify,
the deadliest animals,
the worst U.S. presidents,
the leading causes of death,
the best-selling video game franchises,
the most common murder methods.
Okay, are you going to give one that isn't about death?
The deadliest jobs in America.
Listen to these and countless other top 10 lists every Wednesday at tennishpod.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Top horror villains by their kill count.
I think we're done here.
If you listen to this podcast, there's a good chance you will die.
We are the 10ish Podcast. That's 10ish. Bye.
Well, we've got the news, so we'll jump straight into that, actually. Have a bit of this. It's the news! And as per usual, we found the newsiest news around to tickle your taste buds and let you know what's going on in this big blue marble we call home. It's a fucking interesting week.
Yeah.
First story I came across.
Yeah.
Here in the UK, Richie Sunak. Richie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been overheard discussing plans for to tackle the migrant problem here in the UK.
What a fucking guy.
He's suggesting he pays Brits to move out. What do you reckon?
Yeah, fuck
it's
no.
like, wait a minute, this is to supposedly make the migrant numbers look better. I mean, I'm not being funny, but if you're paying everybody who's actually contributing to the pot, to leave,
Yeah.
you're just going to have a load of people on the benefits, right?
Yeah,
That's it. So that doesn't make any sense, Sunak. But then, not only is he asking Brits to potentially move out of the country, to make it a bit easier on old motherland Britain, right? He's offering 75 grand to go, plus travel, and all of you moving all your stuff.
That's temptation.
It's tempting, isn't it?
You know what though? I do reckon, and I'm not joking, I do reckon there may be a few people who may be tempted
to be honest, there's a lot of people who's probably well, if you're already planning on emigrating,
hold off a minute,
just wait for the payment to come out. You'd be like, I'll take it, Richie. The fact that you're going to try and pay people to leave, it's
bastard.
fucking cheeky as fuck, right? But no, I won't leave Britain, thanks.
But my home, man.
But the best bit, it's the fact that it's just weird. It's weird, isn't it?
He's a knob.
No, the best bit was like today when an advert for Move to Canada came up on the TV, and you're like, that's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it?
It is.
All of a sudden, we're being encouraged to move to Canada. I have said I would move to Canada. I quite like Canada.
Under another rule, but not under the rule that's been put there now.
I mean, but what if Richie turned around and said, "Here's 80 grand,
Yeah, but
get your stuff shipped over to Canada. Here's 75 to live off. Get yourself set up."
I'll tell you what, Richie, give me 75 billion and I'll consider it.
Well, what I suggested is you just go over, you just say, all right, Rich, I'll take the 75. You get on, you go to France, and then just come back on the migrant boat.
There is that,
you just come in with the rest of them and go, I'm come to claim some benefits and stuff. Anyway.
But then you'll have to work in a workshop or something, you know what I mean? You'll have to sell you for sex or something.
I'll stay at my mum's.
Well, you could do that.
Anyway, moving on. And we found this other story. Basically, a woman basically won't take down her 9-foot werewolf.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's crazy. She's put this huge 9-foot werewolf in a garden.
Kind of like it.
It's an Ohio woman. It's pretty cool, actually. I quite like it. I'm not surprised she wouldn't take it down. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It looks like a massive action figure.
Scared of cats.
So basically, an Iowa woman says she won't remove her 9-foot werewolf because she likes it too much. It's amazing. Mary Simmons said Phil the werewolf, so she called it Phil.
See, that's freedom for you.
It's kind of come a house mascot. Simmons said that she bought it at Halloween in October and had chosen to leave it up all year round. Yeah. She's adorned it with the United States flag, keeping it patriotic.
Yeah, good girl.
But it kind of looks like a security thing, she said. So she wanted, obviously, to keep it outside the
local
house.
Burglars away.
So no one breaks in the house. It's a 9-foot werewolf.
Climb up it and get in the window.
Seriously, it's pretty brilliant. I mean, I think she should be able to keep it. To be honest,
I do.
If it's on her property, what's the problem? Is it making the estate
the neighbours, won't it?
It's making the estate look messy.
Yeah,
I don't even think it looks messy though. Do you know what I mean? It's actually quite good. Yeah. We campaigned for what's the face Mary to keep her werewolf statue. I think.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Rock on, Mary. Yeah, you crack on. I'm hoping. Well, you've only got a couple more months, and it's Halloween again anyway. That's so you know what you're going to do? Tell us to take it down then.
But their powers that be probably lay off for about 2 months and then get right back on it again when it's over with.
Nah, it was just one of them, isn't it? So just keep
going
round and round. It's like the werewolf's not doing any harm.
No. Like I said, it's probably a neighbour.
I mean, if it was attacking kids. There was a genuine werewolf in the area, then maybe, but no, it's a big action figure. Yeah. Check it out anyway. I'll post that on Instagram. Man. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Have you got any news you want to talk about?
I have. Over the next couple of weeks and months, a lot of people are going to hear about Mel Gibson. And the reason why
Mel Gibson, the legendary actor and psychopath, Mel Gibson. What's he been in the news? Why are we going to be hearing about Mel Gibson?
Because he's
old passion himself.
Going to be bringing out a 4-part documentary about what really goes on in Hollywood.
Gee whiz!
To me, I think he's a dead man walking for even suggesting that.
Well, I mean, it depends what's in his documentary, I suppose, doesn't it? I mean, I'd love to see it, and but basically, am I going to be leaving, going? Well, I mean, Mel Gibson's got himself as a bit of a reputation for being a bit of a crazy, but I mean, to be honest, looking into this sort of conspiracy about a cabal that runs Hollywood, isn't that exactly how they'd start portraying him in the media and in the spotlight? Yeah. If he was kind of making trouble for them.
Well, the reason why they started doing all that in the media was because he did start, getting
waves
a
and
few people
trouble.
Nervous, and so they were hitting back at
as
him.
Nervous as having a 9-foot werewolf in your garden. Do you know what I mean?
This is going to be a shocker. Trust me. It'll be out within this time next year. It should be out. He's already started making it now, and there are a few other.
So he's not made it yet.
No, he's already with a producer, and it will be out shortly.
Well, if Mel Gibson
really
makes it that far.
This is why I say Dead Man Walking.
You heard it here first. Maybe this is a prediction, but maybe the shocking conclusion to Mel Gibson's documentary is he died.
Yeah, because I can imagine someone on carrying on with his documentary. There are a few people, documentaries who want him to do.
No, I mean, like you say, if you think he's a dead man walking for even trying it, then maybe he won't even make it to the end of the documentary if he's only just currently filming it.
Yeah. Bulletproof vest, mate.
Keep an eye on Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I've not seen this much controversy around Mel Gibson since Passion of the Christ.
Oh, yeah, and that was a shocker on the show, wasn't it?
I didn't watch it, to be honest.
To be honest, I didn't.
I found this story, You'll like this because he's a pro-Trumper.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously, you've heard all the allegations of Trump with his toilet documents.
Oh, yeah.
He's come out now and claimed not guilty. He said that, even Bill Clinton had a couple of secret tapes in his sock drawer.
Well,
and Biden's secret documents are down Chinatown, according to Trump. Well,
if I remember rightly, Biden did get raided not long after Trump did, and he had documents there.
Yeah, but he's the current president.
Yeah, I know, but these were from the jobs that he had within the government before he became the president.
They're all guilty of it, aren't they? I mean, at the end of the day, but you can't claim not guilty when you found it all. He's saying it was personal mementos and bits and pieces, photographs and whatnot.
I think that's a bit too far, you know what I mean? I think,
Well, anyway, pro-Trump supporter pastor suggests Christians should all become suicide bombers.
What the?
Yeah, this is a Christian pastor who supports Donald Trump. Recently delivered a sermon urging Christians to, strengthen their position and passions, and suggests that they should all be willing to die for their faith.
Don't fucking listen to him.
He's a Nashville pastor. Kent Christmas is called.
Kent Christmas.
With a name like Kent Christmas.
Shouldn't he be done now?
I think he should, for incitement. Yeah. So basically, he probably is going to get done for incitement. He's basically spoken out, basically saying he is a Trump supporter, and he's basically balls deep into the next presidential campaign, saying that obviously he's a bit of a front runner, Trump.
He is.
But obviously Christmas said that the Muslim faith has become so successful because their followers are willing to die for the beliefs and Christians aren't.
Yeah, but it's the wrong way of doing it, and it's not actually what their Bible states.
No, of course it doesn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a case that someone's just.
I've said this for years, though. I mean, it's not just you don't just get fundamentalists in one camp. You do get fundamentalists in all types of walks. So, regardless of whether I bet you even get fundamentalist Buddhists.
Religion is there for love and hope.
You see, fundamentalism, just means that you're actually fully in, you're just absolutely immersed in the religion. You eat, sleep, breathe it, right. And anybody kind of. Imagine you really like a musical group, and then someone slags that musical group off, and you actually get quite offended because you like them.
No, really?
Yeah. This is how these guys operate. You know, they're so immersed in the religion that if you say something that is remotely offensive to their religion, it's offensive to them,
and they don't care who they take out.
I mean, you can get fundamentalists in any walk of life for any different reason, right? So, I mean, the idea that there is Christian fundamentalists, there are, They're totally
Yeah.
people who are full on board with God.
Yeah.
And believe the rapture, believe everything about the Bible, word for word. So to me, the idea of a fundamentalist Christian isn't so far from the realms of possibility.
Yeah, they just haven't moved that. They just haven't done that step.
They've just not strapped
backwards.
themselves up with fucking TNT, have they?
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I think he should be done for incitement. I feel like that's actually a really wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
But a right-wing tweet actually on Right-Wing Watch. A right-wing pastor, Kent Christmas, urges Christians to get hold of some passion and be willing to die. It's mental. Exactly.
Let him be the first one and doing it out in the field.
You go and do it. Show us what to do.
Yeah. Just show us exactly what to do in the middle of the field.
Well, have you got anything else you would like to discuss? News-wise?
Yeah, I do. Actually, scientists have discovered. Well, actually, they did it in 2017. But it's just been announced that they found another continent.
Another one? Where was that hiding?
Right next to Australia, funny
Fuck
enough.
off.
No, not joking.
Fuck off.
No, I'm not joking.
And they've missed it all this time.
It's bigger than Australia.
No, I don't believe you.
No,
I don't believe you. Where's this come from? They had to build Dubai.
Yeah, I know. Right in the sight of their eyes, they were saying.
Never.
And
Has this
like,
just risen out of the ocean or something?
No, actually, quite the opposite.
Go on, what's happening?
Right, so basically, in the past, it was found in 1642 by some Dutch businessmen and sailors.
What were they up to?
Well, I don't know. Probably
a couple of Dutch businessmen and a couple of sailors. That sounds like
Well, it's 1.89
like a messy weekend.
million square miles in size.
Right, hang on a minute.
Massive.
Was it an area of land that's now sunk?
Majority of it's sunk, yeah.
Right, it's a bit like Doggerland then,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
right, because there used to be a landmass between England and France, where the channel is, right? But that's now what we know now as Doggerland, right?
That's right.
So, unfortunately, I'm assuming that this land that the Australians have found is uninhabitable.
Well,
Unless
no,
you can
the
breathe
Dutch found-
underwater.
Well, the Dutch found it, and then.
Well, no, I know
obviously
you're saying the
they went
Dutch
away.
found it, but like now they've rediscovered it.
Yes, basically they've rediscovered it off the coast of Australia.
Well done.
After 375 years.
We're going to just have to get some buckets and bail the shit out of it. See if they
Yeah,
can. But the thing is, it'd be
to-
interesting to see if there was any archaeological sort of
Exactly.
any evidence to suggest that there was inhabitants to that land of previous settlements
Yeah,
or
exactly.
previous
be
civilizations. It could actually change history.
For
You
all
never
we
know.
know, it could have been where Atlantis is.
I still believe that's the Eye of Africa.
You know what? You know, I was watching something the other day on that, and I'm more and more convinced that it's either Africa or it's actually a part of England.
Well, we'll do an episode on it actually one day because that's a really interesting debate there to have. But the what do you think? Where was
tell us.
Atlantis? Where do you think Atlantis was? We'll put a poll.
Or is?
Um,
Not necessarily was.
well, interesting stuff there, Taylor. I've got this story.
Yep.
Lazy. This is Skyver of the Week.
We got a lot of them.
Skyver of the Week. Right, Skyver of the Week this week goes to a gas station clerk who asked his friend to rob the store so he could go home early.
You're joking.
Brilliant idea. Not
I don't know
really.
about
I mean, he
that.
got caught, so not exactly.
They got sacked as well.
So the gas station employer in Tulsa is accused of asking his friend to, find someone to rob the store so he could go home early. According to the Tulsa Police Department, an investigation began when the employee, Isaiah Jones, reported that a man walked into the store and handed him a note, said, give me all your money or I'll shoot. Jones complied, and then obviously the suspect left with the cash. But investigators later identified Stephen Jones, no relation, to be the suspect and arrested him on the 8th of June.
And obviously he's going to grass.
However, the police have said that obviously now the story's started to come out. Stephen Jones confessed to the robbery, but said that his friend, Isla Locke, set the crime in motion, saying that the store clerk had asked her to find somebody to rob the store and leave, so he could leave early.
Yeah. Oh my days! And she's probably said that on a.
Well,
passing
two
week.
people have ended up being arrested for it, just so we could get off early. Yeah,
Did he get off early though?
Well, I'm not sure he did. Probably with all, this is the thing.
Witness statement and all that stuff.
I had this. I've got this story, right, and this is a real true story. I'm gonna pretend I'm gonna change the names to cover up identities, right?
Okay.
But it was we were bunking off from school, right? Yeah, and I had two friends who was bunking off school with, and basically they went to a different school to me, and they were like getting a bit bored. It was kind of like a bit of a boring bunk off. We don't know why we ended up bunking off. It was really boring day. So they decided to go home, and I was like, well, what are you going to tell your parents? You know, like, because, you know, you got your home early.
Stay out until
at least 3:15.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you make it look like you've just arrived at the home at the normal time, right?
Exactly.
So, kids, there's a lesson in bunking off, right? Well, basically, they turned around and said that they got kidnapped and mugged and kidnapped, yeah, right? Obviously, the police were called.
Yeah.
And they had to give statements. They had to give an account of what happened. They had to kind of like have the stories matching up. And I remember them giving each other punches to the face to make it look like they were legitimately in an altercation. Yeah. And I remember what I stuck it out me. I was like, nah, you crack on, yeah. I'm staying out till 3:15. Yeah. So
exactly.
I walked past the house on my way home.
Yeah.
And the police were all outside the house because they wanted all this information about who kidnapped him and kept him in the forest.
There was quite a lot of that going on, though.
I know, yeah, right. Time. But my thought was, you know, if you would have, although you got to go home 2 hours early, you were still dealing with the police when I was going home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means that
you've had a longer day.
And a
learner.
And all the stress that's come along with your lie.
Yeah.
So, you know,
made you think
was it worth it? Yeah, right. So in the same respect as these guys, he wanted to go home early, and he set this whole chain of events in motion that's ended up getting 2 people arrested. Yeah. As well as himself sacked, probably. Anyway,
back on the arse, man,
interesting one, and a bit of a personal story there for you. Yeah, moving on, Taylor.
Yeah, well, there's been a warning of sharks being spotted in shallow waters.
Well, we're going to need a bigger boat.
Spain's getting a lot of sharks at the minute, apparently.
Well, why? Is it just because there's, like, you know, the climate's nice and the sharks are kind of like... It's probably a food thing, isn't it? Because usually when they go into
quite a lot,
the shallower waters, it's because they're trying to hunt for food and they're struggling.
El Nino as well. El Nino's moving.
El Nino?
Yeah, El Nino's moving, yeah. The warmer waters are moving up the current.
Okay, so
that could be actually a reason why it's happening, but there's been warnings that, like, because there's been a few.
And where's this?
This is the holiday spots in Spain.
Got the hiccups. Right, well, if you're in Spain and you're on the holiday there, watch out for sharks.
Or if you're going, yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't need that in your life.
We just had a friend that's just come back out from there.
We'll just bop him on the nose. Yeah. Well, Canary Islands, yeah, I suppose it's still Spain, isn't it? I mean, I don't like the sea, as you know. So, you know, I'd be a bit wary anyway, because...
Coastline, maybe.
No, I know, but even in the coastline, I'm still, like, fucking stuff in here, isn't there? So, no, I'm not a big fan.
Well, there is that. I thought of that the other week, actually. I was watching a programme, and it was like, you getting in there with, like, shitloads of sharks, or you don't even know what's going to come up right behind you.
Not for me, thanks. I've got this story here. Yeah. This is a story of a heist worth 50,000 it's worth $13,400. Or 50,000 souls, if you like. Because according to the police, there was security footage which shows thieves breaking into a padlocked room, attempting to steal and making off with merchandise. They were shoe stealing. Yeah, so they ended up getting away with a lot of pairs of sneakers. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
The funny thing was, they were all right-footed.
Oh, you're joking? So they only got 1 foot. Hey, you
They
never
got
know.
away with absolutely tons of trainers, yeah, right. Which I get that you get me joke. It was a load of souls, but. According to the police, they made off with the heist, but only took the left foot or the right foot. Sorry.
Fucking donuts.
So
what
this is the thing with the opportunist thieves, because if you don't know what you're taking, then you end up coming home going, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Now I've got to do it tomorrow to get all the
left ones, not necessarily the same shoe.
Yeah.
And they've changed the locks. So yeah. Madness. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, well, Surf's Up, dude.
Oh, really?
Because the biggest wave pool machine is being unveiled at the end of this year.
This is going to be in the news. Is this going to be in the Super Water Park in Manchester?
No.
Where's that? Where's the new wave pool then?
Abu Dhabi.
In Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Apparently, events and stuff.
I'm never gonna be able to go there, am I, and get on the wave pool?
I don't know. Don't know.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. One day, maybe.
Oh, they might move.
So what? How big is it?
Huge.
I mean, come on, dimensions, please. Have you not got any dimensions? He's just going to start making them up now. Come on, all right, make them up.
Make them up. All right, it's about 15 football pitches.
How did I know you were going to say it was measure it in football pitches?
Because I was going to say American baseball.
I used to have a joke about measuring things in football pitches, but I can't remember it off the top of my head now. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Sounds amazing. Sounds riveting. A big wave pool in Abu Dhabi. Check it out if you ever get to go. Send us a postcard and tell us how awesome it is.
Send us some photos. Yeah. I'd like to see some photos of that.
Well, I've got this story about... I've got several stories, actually, but this story in particular... is a woman who... We've talked about these stories before, but this is a woman who was declared dead...
Okay.
But then knocked on her coffin during her own wake.
Oh.
Well, the 76-year-old woman who was declared dead in hospital in Ecuador astonished her relatives by knocking on the coffin during the wake.
Fucking voodoo.
Obviously, it's started up a government investigation into the hospital. Relatives left the coffin behind and then rushed to the retirement home.
Yeah.
And obviously, it was a big hoo-ha. What
Imagine
would you do?
how many have gone down actually who wasn't dead.
I know, if they were wrongly fingered, do you know what I mean? How long was she in there unconscious potentially before she woke up?
And who knocked her unconscious first?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Potentially, is there something going on in the hospital? Bit of a shipment. You never know.
You never know. Yeah, it's
one
of them worlds, isn't it?
So the daughter said that her mother was obviously pronounced dead. She was brought into the emergency room, left there for hours. The doctor informed her that she died and handed over all her identity documents and a death certificate. The family then brought her to the funeral home where they held her. Yeah. They had the wake later on the Friday. When she started to, start hearing strange sounds. There was about 20 of them in the room, and then after about 5 hours of the wake, the coffin started to make sounds.
And they all shit themselves.
I bet they fucking shit themselves.
Yeah.
The mum was wrapped in sheets, but she was hitting on the coffin. When obviously they opened it, they've seen that the body was actually breathing really heavily.
Oh, my.
So they rushed her back to the hospital on the Friday, where she's basically still in serious condition by the Monday. And obviously the doctors were given, the relatives...
These are the same doctors who actually put her in the fucking...
A better prognosis. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So I thought that was well interesting. I remember, there was that, recording that guy did.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was hilarious. But this is an actual case of coming back from the dead.
Yeah.
All the family had turned out, but they were like, for fuck's sake, we're going to have to do this again in about a fortnight.
Yeah. Oh, these problems when we could deal with you now.
Ah, well. Interesting one. That's a funny one.
It is.
Right. Anything you...
It is. My last story... the biggest and largest fun fair in Europe is in England, in Newcastle, which has surprised me.
Is it? How long's that been there?
It's just turned up.
It's just a new one?
It moves. It moves around. Basically, it's called the Hopping Fun Fair.
All
and
right.
It's got over 400 rides and entertainment, and it's based in Newcastle at the minute.
Okay, the Hopping Fun Fair. Well, if you're in Newcastle, go and check that out. Sounds pretty awesome. I've got 2 stories before we get into NASA news. This one is a belter. Yeah, right. So basically, a man knocks down a wall in his basement.
Yeah.
And he finds an abandoned underground city that once homed 20,000 people.
Oh.
Yeah. Imagine finding that in your basement.
That's mine.
It's basically a subterranean city in Turkey stretching around 280 feet below the Earth's surface. The ancient city was used for centuries before it was abandoned in the 1920s. But a local man has rediscovered it, and he found it because he lost his chickens behind a wall.
So his chickens
have gone behind,
rich,
disappeared behind the wall. He's like, oh shit, I best get my chickens out, and he's basically uncovered this hidden city.
Chickens aren't all bad.
Amazing, stretching, like I say, 280 feet below the Earth's surface in Turkey. The web of tunnels and cave-like dwellings once housed around 20,000 people. An ancient city called Denkayua lay abandoned for decades until the 1960s. But this man has opened it all up, and he's amazing. Well, there you go.
He'd probably find some riches down there,
What?
Some kind of find.
Oh yeah, I reckon there would be some finds down there.
If the property rights is to him, it might be to the government now.
Well, anyway, we've got some UFO news.
Yeah.
Oh, indeed. Well, UFO crash, 100% cover up.
Yes.
Says government congressman. Yeah, this is based around the story we've been talking tonight.
Yeah.
But the Tim Birch, a Tennessee Republican, has basically said that the government are covering up an alleged alien crash in Roswell.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Yeah, there's another one.
Birch has basically spoken out recently about the experience and extraterrestrial at Roswell.
Yeah.
He's basically saying that obviously there was something more to it. The congressman commented and said the way the military handled the alleged UFO crash in Roswell, dubbed the Roswell incident, the official of the Secretary of the Air Force concluded the investigation in 1994, and when they looked into the incident, there was an inquiry by the General Accounting Office, and according to the Air Force and new special reports, the GAO investigation looked into the weather, not the Air Force or the federal agencies keeping the information alleged crash, and the recovery of the extraterrestrial vehicle a secret.
Yeah.
So yeah. So he's coming out and saying pretty much the same thing as everybody else.
Yeah.
Why do you think all these congressmen and stuff are jumping on the bandwagon? I mean, what's he got to do with it anyway?
There's more proof, more.
Is it just the fact that he? I mean,
forward.
just because he says that he's like on board with the idea, though. I mean, is that kind of interesting just because he's a congressman, or is it interesting because he might have information? Now, I don't like you brought something up earlier about not having first-hand information.
Yeah.
So he's rather seen something,
so he's having third hand.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, if this congressman's seen documents that make him believe that there is a cover-up, then he should be bringing those documents to light. But at the end of the day, is he just jumping on the bandwagon because he knows it's a popular, belief nowadays, and that people might kind of like take a bit more of a shine into him if he says, "Oh, I'm on board with this stuff too." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but Congress is one of them that has always turned around and said, "Look, we haven't got any evidence of anything going on, but now more and more evidence and more critical evidence is coming forward. It's not just talking on TV or a news report here and there. There's actual documentation that should have been privy to the Congress but wasn't, and they should have been told from the start on most of these projects, but now because they weren't involved, it's separated. It is part of the government, but it's also separated away from the government into an organisation that is taking charge and has all this technology and all this stuff to basically conquer us within a day or so. But it's the case it needs reining back, and this technology needs to be opened up to us so we can actually use it for...
we have a judge whether it is a risk to us or not. But,
which I think a lot of it is going to be a risk to us, so that kind of stuff needs to be put away for now, but it still should be allowed to be coming out, but all the technical details should be put away, because you could someone of bad attitude could use it for
nefarious purposes.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got this story about NASA. A NASA spacecraft has spotted a lightning storm on Jupiter. So NASA Juno spacecraft flew over Jupiter and captured a view of a lightning bolt in the Junovian clouds. I love that word, Junovian. The Juno mission is one of the space missions that NASA are kind of doing at the moment to check out other planets, weather systems and whatnot. It's a bit of a kind of a cool one, though, to know that they have weather systems and lightning and all that sort of stuff happening on these planets. It's really interesting to know that if they are abandoned, that this stuff is kind of potentially, because there is an argument to say that a bolt of lightning could have sparked that primordial soup.
That power,
did we witness just the birth of a new civilization? It's interesting.
Well, interesting, because the energy within a thunderstorm for Earth, at least, it works out to be like on the surface of the sun.
Lightning's really quite an interesting thing, right? Because when lightning strikes in the desert, on the sand, what do you think happens? Because if you think about how a lightning bolt strikes and the shape of a lightning bolt, right? All the kind of like shards that come off it in all the different directions, right? When a lightning bolt hits the desert, it turns that sand, that silica, into a glass, right? Now the lightning bolt actually, it's so hot, it's hotter than the sun itself, right? By a long way. So when the lightning bolt hits the sand, and it turns that sand to glass, you often get the full pattern.
The greeny.
You get the full pattern of the lightning bolt embedded in the sand, right? There are geologists and people who actually go out there looking for them, because to find one intact is very rare. You can often find fragments of them, and they know that these are due to lightning strikes, because when the lightning hits, it melts the sand and turns it into a glass. But there's only been one or two that have actually been discovered in fully intact, and you've got the full-on forks of the lightning. And it's preserved as a rock type glass. And they do look mint. If you Google them, I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but I think based on what I've just said, you'll be able to kind of find
lightning glass.
What happens when a lightning bolt hits it in the desert. You should be able to find that. But it's quite a beautiful thing to see, because you never see, it almost looks like the roots of a tree. Because of all the extensions and kind of the forks off the actual lightning itself. So it's
nice
really
to look
cool
at, though, isn't it, when you see lightning?
I mean, definitely check that out. I mean, it's an interesting natural occurrence, so,
And it was interesting to find out that it's not to do with the water that actually affects the lightning. It's actually to do with the sand within the water, the dirt within the water, the grains within it that actually bring down the effect.
Well, there you go. Here's a bit of more science for you from NASA. Pure genius. NASA have proven that plants can banish toxins from your home. Basically, what they're saying here is, if you have plants in your house, you get nicer air.
I believe that.
Well, that's kind of been known for a long time, hasn't it?
Yonks for centuries. And I think quite a lot of people use it, but I think
I've got a lot of plants.
I need to get a lot more, to be honest.
Well, you took all my plants, and I think,
Yeah, I got 3 left.
most of them died.
Yeah, my mum's trying to destroy them, though, and I'm like, no, I'm saying.
I'd let
keeping
your
them.
mum. I'd let your mum keep water them. To be honest. Well,
I water them.
as long as you're on them.
Yeah.
On it. Any more NASA news from you?
Yes. Scientists have found for the first time 2, which is surprisingly massive suns leaving our galaxy. Leaving our galaxy. But
there's been a lot of stuff that they've gone, oh, we didn't even know that was there, and then
there's been shocking stuff coming forward at the minute.
I thought if something was leaving our galaxy or entering our galaxy, it was considered an interstellar object, right?
Yes.
So are these suns now considered interstellar? Interstellar suns.
Yeah, but the interesting thing, because they're saying that it's because another big sun blew up, and it's the push force of the power of the sun blowing up, that it's not these other 2 suns.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Well, they're massive, aren't they? But J1237 is going at 1,053 miles per second, while J0927 is going at 1,420. And the thing is, that must mean that there was more than one sun that blew up at the time, because they're going at different speeds, and it can't have been at the same pace.
Well, there you go. Well, my last NASA story of the night, another whistleblower, would you believe it? Edgar Mitchell was involved in the Apollo 14 missions, gained a reputation for sharing conspiracy theories when he arrived back in 1971. He's claiming aliens stopped a nuclear war. What do you reckon to that?
I do. I believe that, actually.
Well, there you go. That's your last story. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah.
Do with that information what you will. Maybe research it. Yes. We'll be back next week.
Yes, we will.
I think we've got. Oh no, we won't be back next week.
No. Yeah, I'm going off on a camping trip for 6 days.
Why were you going on a camping trip?
I'm working in Wigan. Not Wigan, Warrington.
Really, next week?
Yeah. No, this week, coming up now.
Oh, I was going to say, because we're away next week. That's why we're not recording.
Yeah, as soon as I finish there, I'm coming straight.
We will be doing some bits and pieces while we're away, though. We won't be leaving you hanging.
No.
But, we'll be back with another episode. If you want to follow us on all the social media platforms, we're available on Instagram at Never Straight Answer. We're on Twitter.
We are.
NASA_Never.
Yeah.
We're over on TikTok, Never a Straight Answer. If you check out the website at neverstraightanswer.co.uk, where you can find downloadable content, articles, news, and much more.
Much more, including Plus.
Yes. Don't forget the Plus. Yeah, if you want extra content, you can go over and subscribe on Spotify. And subscribe for extra content on TikTok. We've got extra content coming out the wazoo, if you want it. And you made a good point. We're available on all podcast platforms. So we're available on iTunes, Spotify. We're available on YouTube as well. So make sure you go over there. Like I say, we'll be back. We will be back imminently. But if you miss us too much, we've got plenty of back catalogue to get through.
Massive,
so we'll see you next time.
We will.
And peace
out.
Pow.